Austin Okonakwan. Good to have you join us.
And in Lagos, I'm Cecilia Omogbe. On the show tonight, it's the big one. Everyone expected Manchester United. Everyone expected Cristiano Ronaldo to go over to Manchester City. That was the talk yesterday. And Austin, remember I mentioned, what if he had to go to the other side of Manchester? And that's what happened, because just a few hours ago, we learned that Manchester United have agreed a deal with Juventus, 2-year deal, about £20 million, and Cristiano Ronaldo will be making a return to Old Trafford 12 years after he left that same club where he won about 8 trophies.
It's a fairy tale return, Cecilia. What a story. The twist. Remember, Adam was telling us last night that there might just be a twist to this deal. I didn't see it coming because I was just thinking about, Manchester City and PSG meeting the Champions League, and they were going to have Cristiano Ronaldo go against Lionel Messi again. Cristiano Ronaldo, we know so well that he's got a special place in the hearts of fans of Manchester United. And as this morning, when the deal with Manchester City was going back and forth, I was saying it's time for Manchester United to jump right on this for Cristiano Ronaldo. And I'm glad that they eventually did, because this will spark some level of competition in Manchester United now. What a story, Cecilia, because Cristiano Ronaldo truly has no point to prove. So they will definitely benefit from this deal. The fans will be happy again. Hopefully, Cristiano Ronaldo will be happy, and this time around they're going to have a happy ending.
Obviously, it's just going to be another happy ending. He's 36, and before he left, he scored 118 goals for the club in 292 appearances between the 2003 and 2009. If you look at what happened earlier in the day, we heard that when Massimiliano Allegri announced that, he said he's leaving, and early hours of this morning, he had to bid farewell. He went to the training ground, spent some minutes with the players there, and then he told them he was leaving, and he went to Turin. So at the end of the day, this man you're looking at, I'm like, what does he really, I mean, what's the story he's going to write again at Manchester United? What story will he write? What kind of story will he going to write? Because, I mean, he has won all the trophies. That was the first time he won the Ballon d'Or. And not only that, he won about 8 trophies, including the Champions League, the Premier League 3 times in a row at a time, the Carabao Cup, which is League Cup, the FA Cup. So he's won all the trophies. He's scored enough goals, 118, and then he's coming back. And you're asking, what will he prove? Or maybe he just wants to enjoy his football again, playing in the competitive Premier League and leaving Italy, where maybe he wasn't really so happy because he so much wanted to win the Champions League, but then he couldn't. And even last time they got to the quarterfinals, and last season they could not even win Scudetto. So this is a man who loves to win. And we know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is another coach. Since he became the manager of Manchester United, he has never won anything for the club. With Ronaldo going to United, I mean, is he going to bring in something different? I mean,
He will definitely. Cecilia, this is Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah, the name.
He commands a lot of respect, a lot of attention. That's why I said they are not just signing a former player. They are going to boost returns. Cristiano Ronaldo will do a lot for merchandising, for branding.
Okay.
The fans will come back to the stadium again. And remember, when he was living in 2009, that was when Fergie was around. That was when the glory days of Manchester United was also around. So they will see the coming of Cristiano Ronaldo as one that will even end this trophy drought for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So he just needs to know how to manage it, because I know now those other players will be talking. Remember the same thing we said about Messi going to PSG. Solskjaer must know how to manage this player now.
Okay.
Because he's a big team player, no doubt. But he's got other persons. He's got Drogba. The likes of Martial now, when they get an opportunity to play football, they must take it. Because whether or not Cristiano Ronaldo makes 50 errors on the pitch, if he scores 1 goal, the media will jump on it because that's Cristiano Ronaldo. So, Cecilia, this homecoming for Cristiano Ronaldo will do a lot of good, not just for Manchester United, but for himself, because we've said it, that he's got nothing to prove, and he's coming to a club where he has also achieved some level of success. So I'm just waiting to see how this is going to turn out. But I wanted him to go to City just so we can see that level of comparison that we wanted with Lionel Messi. But it didn't happen. We'll wait and see. Hopefully, when we get our guest Tunde Adelakun, Super Eagles chief scout, we'll talk to him and see the role that maybe scouting played in this also, because there are a lot of twists and turns to this Cristiano Ronaldo deal that we don't understand just sitting on the side. So it'll be good to unravel everything and then see how good it will be, particularly for the English Premier League.
Obviously, and before we get our guests talking, before they get ready, let's just listen to the coaches that Cristiano Ronaldo will be playing against. I'm talking about Jurgen Klopp and, of course, Thomas Tuchel of Chelsea.
I watch that like a football supporter, actually. I have not more knowledge about it. Probably you have much more knowledge about it, if it will happen or not, than I have. But again, it's not about me to judge that or whatever. It's just if other clubs can do things like this, it's obviously not a business for the future. I say in 3-4 years we will have then the benefit of that. It's for now and immediately.
It's good for the Premier League and shows like how competitive and how difficult this league is. At the same time, it will make life harder for us. But that's what we are up to, and I hear it from you for the first time. I just come off the pitch, and we prepared the sessions before, so let's wait and see.
Now, Jurgen Klopp, he has never really dealt with Cristiano Ronaldo, but Thomas Tuchel has, because when he was in Italy. Now, it's going to be a huge one, him coming to Premier League and everything. Yes, everyone wants the brand. But the question, you talked about the fact that scouting, played a lot of role. When Adelakun is ready, he will join us. And also, we're going to be asking some questions. What number will he be wearing? Because CR7 is a brand. And Cavani is wearing number 7 jersey. Martial is wearing number 9. So are they going, I don't know, they've already submitted the numbers they're going to wear for this season. And it really cannot change. Except maybe Cavani is going to leave. Or maybe Ronaldo will be wearing maybe jersey 77. Who knows? I can't answer that. But, we've got people that will be answering that for us, Austin.
The only problem here is that they have already submitted jersey numbers.
Yeah.
But I don't see any problem with Cristiano Ronaldo, adjusting to this Manchester United team. He's just coming back home. That's just what it is. And it's just because he's got some fairy tale, around it, because it's Cristiano Ronaldo. He's been there, done that. He's 36, but still plays like in his mid-20s. And whenever he's out there, we don't care because it's Cristiano Ronaldo. We want him, to play good football. So for Manchester United, their branding team, we think about that. I'm sure any number they put on Cristiano Ronaldo, they will find a way to make us see that it is for the good of the club, and of course for them to also make money, because the moment this guy is in your team, it goes beyond playing football. I remember back in the day when they signed Ibrahimovic and they asked Mourinho that he's signing an old player, and he said no, he's bringing branding to the club. And look at what Ibrahimovic did to the sales of jerseys, fans coming to the stadium, and even getting media attention. Cristiano Ronaldo will do more. Cecilia, let's put some vibe to this conversation and invite Super Eagles Chief Scout Tunde Adelakun. Is right here in London with me, and he's been monitoring the situation. Tunde, good evening. Welcome to Sports Tonight.
Good evening to you. How are you?
Awesome. Good to see you again. Everyone, I know, including you, talking about this move. In fact, we've been talking about it since yesterday when we got the gist that he might be going to Manchester City. But the twist, the turns, Cristiano Ronaldo turning back to go to Manchester United. Did you see it as a surprise?
Oh, for sure. It was a very big surprise because everybody thought that if Ronaldo was going to leave Juventus, there's only 2 destinations for him potentially. One would be Manchester City, the other would be PSG. And we were already smacking our lips and dreaming of the prospect of having Messi and Ronaldo in one and the same team. Then the Champions League draw came last night, and we saw that Manchester City was actually drawn in the same group as PSG. So we thought, oh, it'd be great to rekindle that Ronaldo-Messi rivalry if Ronaldo ended up in City and Messi is already in PSG. So for some reason, it didn't happen. He did come to Manchester, but he's going to United, to the red end. And I can hear from what has been said so far, it has whipped up a frenzy of excitement amongst a lot of people. It comes as a big surprise, but then again, as you say, in terms of what he represents to the club, he is coming back home, so fair play to him.
Yeah, now that will make him relaxed, put him under no form of pressure. But let's talk about the role. You're a scout, and we can't scout Cristiano Ronaldo because he's Cristiano Ronaldo. But what role does scouting play in this sort of deal?
Well, I mean, the very first thing that I believe the manager Solskjaer would have done, what Ed Woodward would have done would have been to call his team of scouts immediately, because as of 2 days ago, they did not know they were going to land this player. So they have made their plan for the season, and they have set it out right from the word go. You know how meticulous they can be at Manchester United, I hate to say. But the reality is that's what they're going to do. Now, all of a sudden, it turns out that he's come available. And then they would have to put together their team of scouts to say, okay, where do we fit this guy in the grand scheme of things? How do we play him? How do we actually express the fact that, he is going to come in here and make an impact? And that is where the role of the scout comes in. Where do we fit him in? Who do we sacrifice? Who do we chop? And how do we make the rest of the team play around him? Because like you say, you can't scout Ronaldo. He is a perfectionist and he does everything to perfection or near perfection. Therefore, players have to adapt to him rather than him adapting to the team. And that's where the scout comes in. That's where the coaching crew comes in. And that's where they have to work on to make sure that he actually adapts and he actually fits in.
Before I bring in my colleague, Cecilia, Ole is still in search of his first trophy at Manchester United. And now a big name player is joining. Does this put the coaching crew under some more pressure?
Oh, of course it does. Of course it does. But I tell you what, any coach in a club, not even big like Manchester United, any coach at all who doesn't want pressure is in the wrong job. Okay? I tell you something. 2 managers have benefited massively from this summer's transfer window. Mauricio Pochettino and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. How have they benefited? They came in with modesty. Ole came in modestly to come and steady the ship after Mourinho left Man United. He was a rookie, relatively. Remember when he came to England at first, he went to Wales in Cardiff City and he didn't end very well. And there were question marks over his coaching ability and his tactics. So he came in to steady the ship, which was all right. And then all of a sudden, they decided to give it to him long term. And before you know it, he's managing great players. He's got Jadon Sancho. He's got Paul Pogba. Now he's got Ronaldo. And if there's anything called the god of luck in football, he's got it. Same thing, go to Pochettino. Pochettino, after being sacked unceremoniously and undeservedly by Tottenham Hotspur, gets picked up by PSG, and he finds himself all of a sudden in the company of Neymar, Di Maria, Mbappe, suddenly Messi. Wow. I mean, pressure, that is pressure, but they will enjoy that pressure. It's the kind of pressure you and me would want to have, believe me.
Cecilia, is that the sort of pressure you want to handle?
I don't think so, because you were talking about the squad. I mean, United are very meticulous, right? You're talking about the squad that they have. Now, if you look at the forwards, you've got Edison Cavani, you have Anthony Martial, Then you're bringing in a Cristiano Ronaldo. Don't forget you have Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, and then you have, of course, Bruno Fernandes, who always delivers. Look at this crop of players. How will Ronaldo really fit in? Is he going to be the point man? Where is he going to play from? Because the Ole that we all know, most of the fans can't even trust him to handle these crop of players.
Well, this is it, and that is why I say there is pressure on Ole, because at the end of the day, that's what he has to do. He has to now start to manage properly and earn his money and earn his title, because he's got big players, he's got big egos. What he's going to have is a real massive pressure on the training ground every day, because each of them have their egos. And I tell you what, when they were coming in, when Sancho was coming in, he felt that he was going to be the beast. He was going to be the top man. When Pogba was coming in, same. Okay, when Cavani was coming in, he was going to be the point man, and all of a sudden, you know, I immediately after this announcement was made, I had to get on set with another channel, and I said, my darling club Chelsea, we signed Lukaku, and we thought we did something really big. All of a sudden, it pales into insignificance because of this big story. Ronaldo is the one that everybody wants to have. They will play around him. They will have to find a tactic to play around him, because he is the point man. He is going to be the main guy that they will play around, and managing the egos of the other players, of Martial. Look at Rashford. Look at the status of Rashford going into the European Championships. He was up there. All of a sudden, he can't even command the starting shirt because Ronaldo is there, Cavani is there. He now has to manage those egos, Ole, and make sure that he keeps them happy. Can he do it? That's the first task he's got before we go into getting trophies, because it can go well for him and he'll win lots of trophies, but it can go horribly wrong and he'll be out by Christmas.
Okay, the question me and Austin were talking about earlier is what number will he be wearing? 77, because CR7 is a big brand. And you already have Edison Cavani. I mean, the jersey number has been submitted. He's the one with number 7. Well, what jersey will he wear? Is it going to be 77? Because obviously that CR7 is already a brand which United want to retain because of the merchandise and the money that comes with it.
I believe that it will be a very weird number. It could probably be 77. But don't be surprised as well if negotiations go on behind the scenes and he ends up in number 7. Nothing is impossible in this world of football, especially when we're talking of the big spenders and the big names. Cavani, negotiate with him, give me a couple of, you know, things to make him happy, and he'll concede the number 7 shirt. You never know. I cannot even place the bet on that because I'm sure I would lose it.
Because with the jersey number submitted already to Premier League, can United really influence that for them to kind of change it?
They shouldn't be able to. It will be gutting. It will be very unfortunate if they do, but I cannot tell you for sure that they can't or that they won't. If he comes in, you know, Cristiano is one of the few players in the world that would actually come forward and tell them what he wants, because he can afford to say it, because he is CR7. And if he says that's the condition that I want, he will try, they will do everything for him. And if it doesn't happen, it means it could not happen. But I'm sure they will try. Unless he says, out of respect for Cavani, leave it with Cavani for another season and I'll sort myself out next season. Now, is CR7 that kind of person? No. He'll go for it if he wants it.
All right, well, we need to go on a break. When we'll come back, Alfred Okoligwe will be joining us. We're still talking about Manchester United re-signing Cristiano Ronaldo after 12 years. And, of course, you also get reactions from the fans.
I think it'd be amazing, to be honest. I was just reading that, actually, a minute ago. I think to have him return as such a legend, and obviously started his career. I remember watching him come on as a teenager. And yeah, it'd be amazing to have him back in the Premier League and obviously end his career at the club it all started for him. I think it'd be phenomenal.
Everything, leadership, like mentality, that mentality to win everything. Like Rashford doesn't have that yet. Greenwood doesn't have that yet. Sancho doesn't even have that yet. Bruno tries, but Bruno's never won anything big. So he'll bring that leadership, that mentality to win trophies that United, like, we need it.
Oh, a lot, mate. He makes it. He's a Red. He belongs to a Red, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He belongs with a United kit on.
That's why I haven't been there for 7 years.
That's why City are pulled out, because that's not where he belongs. He belongs to the Reds, and that's just it.
Do you think City missed a beat by pulling out?
No, I don't think it will. Still win the league, still win everything like usual, so I'm fully confident.
You disappointed that?
No, not at all, really, no. Stay at United, they need him, really, don't they?
Secretly, though, he is pretty heartbroken, I can tell.
Yeah, I am. I was crying this morning.
So you see the smiles on their faces, and you agree with Tunde Adelakun when he said that some level of excitement is already in the air with Cristiano Ronaldo returning to Manchester United. Let's bring in Alfred Okoligwe. Now he's in Lagos. Alfred, good to have you on Sports Tonight. And then when you take a look at this return of Cristiano Ronaldo, how much respect has it already given to Manchester United?
A very good evening to you, Austin. Good evening, Cecilia. Excited to be here, as always. I mean, this move by Cristiano Ronaldo, for me, has just installed Manchester United as the favorite for the league. We thought, like Tunde mentioned, the signing of Lukaku was something big for Chelsea. But hey, this one just came out of the blue, because when that story broke yesterday, that he might just be leaving Juventus and headed for City, I was like, hey, perhaps maybe Pep Guardiola wants to make a statement. All of a sudden, as time went on, everything just changed. And when it was announced this evening, I mean, I was speaking with some Chelsea fans on my radio show this evening, and they were like, I don't know why Ronaldo will come back to England and go to United. But then, he's been to United before. His legacy there. I recall watching Rooney talk about Ronaldo not destroy the legacy that he has with Manchester United by going to City. That if you want to advise him to end up United, and that's exactly what the young man did. This is like installing Manchester United as clear figure, because in Ronaldo you are sure of getting double digits in terms of goals, and you sure that you have a match winner in your hands. The question is, can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer manage him at this level? That's the question I think that he has to answer, and that's the kind of pressure that he's in presently.
Let me bring back Tunde Adelakun. Tunde, when you take a look at this deal again, in terms of revenue generation, how massive is it for Manchester United and the English Premier League?
Very big. Very big for Man United. Man United are very, very crafty when it comes to doing their business deals. Like you mentioned earlier on about when they brought in Ibrahimovic, I think that before Zlatan Ibrahimovic actually put pen on paper when they said he had passed his medical, the amount they generated in merchandising in his shirt with his number at the back actually equated what they paid for him in transfer fees immediately, even before he set on the pitch at Old Trafford. So they know how to do these things. They're very good at it. They're going to do. And don't forget, you see, we have different levels of club followership in England, and I'm sure you know, Austin. Some are passionate with their hearts, but cannot part with their money because they ain't got that much. Yeah. Manchester United fans will pay to heaven and back for anything that they really love. They will go anywhere. They're the most widely traveled in the country. They will go to Azerbaijan if they have to. And you tend to want
we've lost Adelakun there. We can really hear him. All right, we'll have to leave Cristiano Ronaldo now because it's not going to be a Ronaldo show. We still have other things to talk about. That's why the fact that the story broke today and everyone is anxious to really know how he's going to fit into that United squad that they have so many forwards. Ronaldo coming in, maybe disrupt the team, or is he going to add more? Or can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be able to win the trophy with Manchester United having signed Cristiano Ronaldo? Because everywhere he goes, he wins trophies. At Real Madrid, at Juventus, he's been winning trophy. Now, the game for this weekend, we have two big games. Arsenal will be up against Manchester City, and of course, Chelsea and Liverpool. Now, Liverpool hosting Chelsea at Anfield, it's one thing that Jurgen Klopp is really looking forward to, because if you look at what happened with both teams, they started the season so well. They've won their 2 games, but at the end of the day, since Cristiano Ronaldo is coming, so most of these teams will quickly grab the points they can grab before they face United. Man City and Arsenal is a big game to look forward to on Saturday. You also have Aston Villa and Brentford, Brighton and Everton, Newcastle and Southampton is another game we're looking forward to. And of course, you flip over to the big game of the weekend, which is between Liverpool and Chelsea at Anfield. And Jurgen Klopp has been talking about that game. Let's just listen to Jurgen Klopp ahead of the game before we get back to London to see if we can get Adelaku back on the program.
I can imagine. Again, it's one of these games I would watch 100% if I would not be involved. So we have to. It's pretty much a must-watch game if you want. Chelsea obviously in a really good moment, won the Champions League with the last club competition or club game last season. Played an incredible, last half of the season. Since Thomas was in, really developed in the right direction. So brought now Lukaku in, which doesn't make them worse, obviously. And so, yeah, is a tough opponent. But we are actually not in the worst moment as well, and hopefully we can show that.
I think any time when you play at Anfield and with spectators against Liverpool is one of the toughest challenges that you can face in European football. And after that, you're much smarter where you are and what your true capacity and what your true performance is. So it's like this tomorrow. We had a good start. Liverpool had a good start. And tomorrow we will fight from first minute to get a good result. But like I said, it will be a huge challenge. And no result will be a decision in for the season. But of course, we are fighting for it because this is... the challenges where you need to prove and where we want to prove ourselves.
That's Thomas Tuchel, of course, obviously looking forward to that game, and also playing at Anfield. We know how noisy Ed can be. They never work alone. Tunde Adelakun is back with us now. He was trying to explain the question that Austin asked him concerning Cristiano Ronaldo. Adelakun, if you're still there, maybe you can just finish your thoughts and wrap this up for us before we move over to the big game of the weekend, which is Liverpool and Chelsea.
Like I was saying, it is a very big boost for United financially, because they know how to do it. They're very astute business people. What you get from them all the time is the fact that they invest well, like they did with Ibrahimovic. When Ibrahimovic came, they made the money immediately, even before he set foot on the pitch. He will do exactly the same thing with Ronaldo. They will make the money from it, whether it translates to trophies for him, whether it translates to success and good fortune for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer remains to be seen. But what it will do to the bank balances of Manchester United will be fantastic.
Interesting. Before we let you go, I have to predict this game. It's going to be a big weekend for Chelsea. Of course, you're a Chelsea fan. We all know that. These two clubs, they started on a good run, winning their first 2 games. Now, this is going to be their first big test, of the early Premier League season. What's your take on this game, and where will it go? Yes, just you're going to answer my question as an analyst, not as a fan this time.
Right. Okay. If I'm going to answer as an analyst, I'll say it's a bit disrespectful to Arsenal, because Arsenal was actually the first big test for Chelsea. Arsenal is a big team as well, unfortunately. No. However, moving forward and moving forward very swiftly, this game is going to be tricky. It's going to be a very tricky one, because it's between 2 managers that know each other very well. They're both Germans. They're both astute, very meticulous. I have seen the workings of both of them, and they're dream coaches to work with. They pay attention to every detail, every blade of grass that will be covered on that pitch. And that is where the game is going to be won. The game is going to be won and lost by concentration, by total focus, by attention to detail, and the team that can pay that much attention to such detail and forget about what's going on in the crowd, in the scenes, is the team that will take the day. Now, who do I think is going to get it? I'll give it to Chelsea. I think Chelsea has got what it takes. Now, Liverpool look awesome. Liverpool look absolutely menacing when they play, when they go forward. However, something just tells me, now don't hold me to it next time I come back here, but something tells me that Chelsea will edge it tomorrow.
Interesting. Okay. So let's get back to London. I'll staying in London, I mean.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay today. We understand. It's just match day 3, and then we're seeing all of this in the English Premier League. I love it. Tunde Adelakun, I think we should say thank you so much to you for your time on the show tonight. I'll get you back on the program just before the Super Eagles will take on their opponents for the World Cup qualifiers. Thank you so much.
No problem. My pleasure. You take care. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So that's it. Let's continue with Alfred Okoligwe, who is an Arsenal fan. It's Arsenal against Manchester City. Alfred, and so I needed Tunde to leave first. He's a Chelsea fan, just discuss Arsenal issues. It's Arsenal against Manchester City. It's just match day 3, but with what we saw against West Brom in the EFL Cup, I know it's a small team, but did the Gunners show signs that, yes, they want to take their season back in their hands?
Given the position they had on the night, they thrived in that game. They just felt that they needed to make a statement, and they came up with that big win. Of course, the scoreline a bit flattering, if you ask me. But with the full complement of their players, Lacazette playing his first game of the season, Aubameyang looking like he wants to reinvent himself. He didn't score in any of the season's games, and just got West Brom, and quickly, boom, 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 he registered his first hat-trick for the season. That's the Arsenal that showed up against West Brom. The question is, when push gets to shove, the problem with Arsenal, I think, is leadership on the field of play. Who really takes, who is in charge? Who really says, okay, when the game situation, when the pressures are high, this is what we need to do. Each time, the Arsenal play like a snail with the shell. You touch the snail, and it just coils back into its shell without giving you a fight. That's the kind of Arsenal that Arteta, unfortunately, have presented lately. And I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester City picks maximum points in this one.
I got an Arsenal fan who was asking me, Mr. Austin, can you explain who did this fixtures? I was like, I don't know. And it's not looking good. Lost the first game to Brentford, lost to Chelsea, and the records are looking very ugly. And if they lose against Manchester City, how much damage do you think that can already do to the Gunners?
I think it will. I mean, for supporters of Arsenal, the moment they lost to Brentford, they knew it would just come to this. It will be a big statement if Arsenal bounce back. You look at the position. First off, it's Manchester City that we're talking about, the defending champions. City is a team that through passing they can take you apart. Now that Arsenal team is, for me, lacking in spine, uninspiring. The performance sometimes. I look at them. Like somebody remarked that Arsenal used to be the Gunners, but today the kind of government that they have, they don't know the kind of government they have. I mean, you find players that cannot inspire any confidence. But I mean, they've done it before in the FA Cup when they defeated City in the semi-finals. But maybe they're riding on luck or something. But Arteta knows that another loss in this game will mean that perhaps maybe the guys upstairs will want to reconsider his stay in the club.
That's it. We'll wait to see match day 3 already getting us to talk in the English Premier League. And we'll talk some more now with the arrival of Cristiano Ronaldo. We'll continue to monitor everything going down in the Premier League right here in England. Let's continue with the show now. Drop the football and pick up the basketball right there in Rwanda. The D Tigers, they recorded their second win at the competition. Cecilia, I saw you champing at the bit at that one. It was a good win for the D Tigers against Kenya. I told Tayo this morning that, come on, this is Nigeria going against Kenya in basketball. It shouldn't worry us, and they turned up big time and got the win.
Yeah, I think going in, I love the fact that Nigeria is for the first time in a long while, you'll see Nigeria team actually going into a basketball event, and they're not really favorites. They're not one in Africa, yes, but then because of the crop of players that came with, I mean, how many days? 1 week to blend. 4 home-based players had to travel over to kind of try to gel with this team. We've not really seen much of them. But then the D Tigers, of course, securing their second win, 71-55 over Kenya. It was expected that they would win this game by as much as maybe 20 or 25 points. But then they won by 16 points. I know, yes, Coach Liz, we all love her because, making history at the FIBA Afrobasket. By the end of the day, of course, we are Nigerians. The D Tigers, they came out very well in the first quarter, 28. Yes, I was happy about that, by that margin they started. But then the second half, somehow, Kenya, I mean, they just came out. It was 18-14. You were thinking, how would they even win one, ahead of Nigeria? But then you can take pictures of the D Tigers coach talking there. Maybe we'll just take a listen to him, what he had to say immediately after that game, because Nigeria had to be very, very impressive. And he had to take some players to come off the bench for them to be able to try and retake the lead. And, of course, they won by that margin.
We're not trying to make people believe in us, because we believe in us, and that's all that matters. So if people don't want to believe in us, we're okay with that. We haven't played well. We didn't play well today. We played better in the second half, I thought, as a team. Excuse me, even in the first game, we didn't play that good. Played a little bit better in the first game than the second game, and our opponents have something to do with it. But we could be better. We believe in ourselves, and we feel like we're going to continue to get better as the tournament goes along. When the defense stiffens up or gets a little tighter or better, all we have to do is drive the basketball. Because when we drive the basketball, the defense will collapse. And if we're unselfish, which our guys have been for the most part, and we make the right pass and the floor is spaced, we're going to get good shots offensively. I thought we had some good shots offensively tonight that didn't go in, but our effort was inconsistent defensively, and I thought that's what hurt us more than anything else. After taking a good shot when we missed it, that should make us want to tighten up a little bit more defensively. But when we get tired, we don't really fight through fatigue right now, and we have to do a better job of that going forward because the games are going to get harder.
Obviously, the games will definitely get harder. But then another player that's been talking, Benjamin Emelogu, has been talking about the team and, of course, the role that what they need to do, especially when it comes to defensive play. That's what they really did. So they didn't do so well, and that's the reason Kenya tried to get into the game. Let's listen to him, then we'll take a commercial break. After that, Austin, of course, Alfred, a colleague, we'll go to Austin, for more on Sports Tonight.
Just come together as a group, refocus, get back to what we do best, and that's move the ball, play as a team, and make sure that we get stops. And we did that. We increased the lead, came out with the win. I think it's just a team effort. Guards, we got to help the bigs, and we just got to communicate, make sure we take off the bigs off the boards. And, I think today we did it at times, but for the whole game we did not. And I think that's why Kenya stayed in the game for a long period of time, is because they dominated us on the boards. Like Coach said, they play hard. I think that's just with every team out here, what I'm starting to see is that these teams play hard, they take pride in their country, and, they want to win. So we got to go out there and match their intensity.
Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're taking a look at the 2021 Afrobasket Championships that are going down in Rwanda. Second win for the D Tigers, and they will be playing Cote d'Ivoire next. Before we bring in Coach Lees, let me get to Alfred. Alfred, I listened to Coach Mike Brown saying that his team didn't play well. They won 71-55, a 16 points difference, but he's saying they didn't play well. Is that just mind games as they prepare to take on Cote d'Ivoire?
Well, I think it's not mind games, because if you look at the circumstances, how they got to Rwanda, the team that they presented, the moment they presented that team, hey, nobody's talking about Nigeria anymore. And I like the way he put it. Nobody believes in us. The most important thing is for us to believe in ourselves. I mean, it's just putting it mildly. That's the extent of how we played. It was a 16, 17-point game. Recall our first game we defeated Mali. That Malian team lost to Cote d'Ivoire, which means that from this point onwards, it's going to be a tough game because the third game is against Cote d'Ivoire. And if we qualify already, it's like we're in the quarterfinals. And from that point onwards, you can only meet very, very tough competition. I think these guys are coming into their own. They are growing into they are maturing into the competition. These are guys that were not at the Olympics. Nobody gave them a chance. 4 of these players are home-based players. And for me, that's the exciting part for me, because whatever they do from here is as a team. They are learning together. They are growing together. And just shows, according to Coach Mike Brown, the depth of Nigerian basketball. We need to do more because we have these players that can really deliver for us.
That's right. And a major lesson from this tournament is that when we come back, we should start giving attention towards developing the league in the country. Let's listen to Coach Lee's second defeat for Kenya. But hey, she deserves a lot of commendation being the only female coach at the competition.
In experience, I would say. I wouldn't say it had much to do with Nigeria. As you can see, we could get into the paint quite easily. Wasn't defensive pressure, it's just our own sloppy passing, something that we did in Cote d'Ivoire game and we really put an emphasis on. But clearly, it didn't quite sink in for the players, unfortunately, and you can't win a game with 28 turnovers. So that's on us. As coaches, maybe we've got to look at getting some simpler plays for them to be able to execute so that they can get easier scores and look after the ball better.
That's what it is. They can do better. And sometimes you don't just go into this sort of competition to win. You also go to gather experience. And I'm sure that's what Coach Lee's is doing with Kenya. Cecilia, let me get you talking. How proud are you of Coach Mills?
I mean, very proud of her. You know, it's hard for you to see women in that position. Yes, whenever you're having maybe 1, 2, 3 in the particular position, we all sing the praises. Just take a look at all the teams taking part, 16 of them. She's the only woman. And for her, it's a big one and also a win for every lady who's actually aspiring to become a coach of male team, not just women's team now. You know, a kind of a circle where you have all men and you're the only woman. You want to see more of such women, you know, around the table. Right. But sometimes it's hard to find, especially in a sport whereby, yes, most of them, all of them are men. But then let's talk about Coach Mike Brown. Now, Austin, you guys and Alfred Okoligwe mentioned the fact that they also need to improve. And first of all, he talked about the fact that, look, they did not play well. Yes, we'll admit that they didn't play well. It takes Jeremiah Modi to come off the bench. Offensively, defensively, he contributed because he had 10 points off the bench, 5 rebounds, and that more like woke the team up. And that's the person he will be banking on when he will be facing Cote d'Ivoire on Sunday, because Matt Costello is one player they really need to hold on to. That guy had 25 points for Cote d'Ivoire. But then Jeremiah Modi had 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. And also you have another big player who was also top-notch for the D Tigers. Let's just listen to Coach Mike Brown, what he tends to do ahead of the game against Cote d'Ivoire. He doesn't know the team so well, but then he knows that offensively and defensively, Nigeria will need to be top-notch to beat that team and secure that automatic spot for the quarterfinals.
Haven't really spent a lot of time watching them. I do know they play extremely hard. They're well coached. Actually, their head coach coached my son in Spain this year. Okay. So I know their head coach really well. We're going to have to come out and fight for 40 minutes. And like Ben said, we're going to have to try to keep them off the glass because they're a physical team that rebounds really well. And then we're going to have to take care of the ball because they really get up in you defensively and they're really physical. So we can't let their physical defense get us out of sorts to cause turnovers. I thought tonight our guys had 5 turnovers in the second half. Made 8 in the first half, 5 in the second half. That was fantastic to be able to take care of the ball like that. And then also we were improved from the free throw line, our opponents. You know, I think our opponents in game 1, Molly shot 20-something free throws. Tonight we gave up 16 free throws. So those are 2 positives. But I would also like to point out one of our players. I thought Jeremiah Morty, came off the bench and really had a big game for us. He was great defensively. He was fantastic offensively, and his impact was something that, you know, not a huge number in terms of points, but he had a lot of good numbers in a lot of different categories. So Jeremiah played very well for us today.
All right, quickly, Austin, let's leave the D Tigers and go straight to MPFL if we have some time. Michelle Diko has actually said that this season his God is the best. Okay, we don't have the time. The director said we need to leave the studio. But to just wrap this up, I mean, Alfred Okoligwe is still with us. Michelle Diko has actually mentioned that this season, concluded season, is the best. Maybe on Tuesday we'll have time to really break it down. The reason why he said is the best we've ever had in a long time, or rather overall, because of the numbers of games that were played, and of course the goals scored, and also during pandemic, the teams were able to prosecute all the games, and also commercially it was also viable. Those are the things he talked about when he met with journalists in Abuja today. Maybe we'll dedicate time on Tuesday to talk about this, Austin, because we have 1 minute, 30 seconds to leave the studio.
Yeah, let me just get Alfred briefly on that. Alfred, in like 30 seconds on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the just concluded MPFL season?
I thought it was exciting in terms of the number of games they played, in terms of the intrigue at the end of the day. But for me, the downside was waiting for so long to take a decision that ought to have been taken earlier, and the issue of Rivers United and Chicago Nissan. That, for me, just kind of put the effort of Para United on the final day. Just made it look as if we were waiting for you to play this game, and all of the things that went into preparing for that game, it was on the low side. But for me, the number of games, I'm particularly excited that the league ended with full complement of games played. So for me, it was good.
Alfred, we must say thank you so much for your time with us on the show tonight. Cecilia, back to you. Did you notice Alfred didn't rate them on a scale of 1 to 10? You see, the great journalist will just dribble you. It's okay.
And of course, we talked about the last one, which everyone was also skeptical about. But that's it on the show tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a fantastic weekend.
It was a fun-filled show. Thanks for doing this with us in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember to keep talking sports. Bye for now.